Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be solving this question on Geeks for Geeks called set matrices 0. Let me load up sketch. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so the question states that we have been given a two-dimensional matrix which is of size n cross m, which means that it might be or it may be or may not be a square matrix, and our task is to modify the matrix such that if uh, the element at I comma j is 0, then all the elements in the ith row and jth column are to be set to 0, and we have to do it in constant space complexity. Okay, so if we so before sort of directly diving into the constant space solution, one of the alternate ways that we can solve this is to sort of copy this array, make a duplicate of this array, not a shallow copy, a shallow copy I mean, and then after making the shallow copy we'll iterate through this array. If we encounter 0, we are going to mark that cell in our shallow copy with some kind of number, and then convert the whole row and column to 0, something like that would be. Now in order to do it in constant space, we can sort of use the same logic and convert uh, the row and the column to some kind of special character or something that we can recognize, and then after iterating the whole row loop we can, or iterating the whole matrix, we can sort of replace the rows and columns or those special characters with 0. Because I think one of the biggest problems that we would be encountering if we do not sort of convert or mark these is, let's just assume that we reach over here this cell, now this is equal to 0. So if we sort of convert the rows and columns into 0 now itself without actually completing the whole iteration, what's going to happen is that this will also be equal to 0, which means this will be also equal to 0. So after completing the operations for this, when we move forward to this element, that is I2, I1 and j equals 2, so 1 comma 2 position, then we will convert this and this also to 0 again, because this will be converted to 0 because of this element. So that will be our major problem. So that is the reason why we are sort of converting them into a special character. So okay, so the first thing we need to do is to get the dimensions of the matrix, be able to let's just write this row and column. Now you need to initiate two for loops. And to iterate through the matrix, after this what we'll do is we'll write a simple check that if the element at I comma j position is equal to 0, and we'll sort of special character all elements in this row and column to a special character. So we'll be set the matrix I comma j position. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll iterate again. Let us copy paste this loop itself, and here we will be checking for that special character. Now if it's equal to that special character, then what we'll be doing is we'll be converting element at this position to 0, and like that we'll be solving from. Now in order to choose a special character, the first thing that we should do over here is to look at the constraints. If we look at the constraints, it is obvious that element is almost considering each element can range from minus 2 raised to 31 to plus 2 raised to 31 minus 1, which is almost the complete range of an integer. I think for integer it is 2 raised to 32 minus 1, something like that. So that means the only special character that we will be allowed to consider is something like this: int max minus 1 or int max. Let's consider it as int max minus 1, and then write a function that would and the purpose of this function is to sort of convert the whole row and the column to that special character, which in this case is int max minus 1. So we'll take r as I, not the whole row, right? So if let us take this itself, this test case, and this is our matrix, and this is the 0th column, 0th row, first row, second row, 0 column, first column, second column, and we need to convert this and this. So basically okay, so we'll need 2 for loops, and that is the first for loop. Let me this as row, wherein I will set the column as constant and iterate through the, so that will, what that basically will do is that is going to this whole into 0, and then another loop where I will set the row as I, and then iterate the column, and that would give us this whole thing as 0. Now let me write r is less than matrix dot size and r plus plus, and what I will do, set matrix of r and j is equal to int max minus 1, and similarly another for loop to convert the whole column into, for that I'll take matrix of 0, and then the reason why we can take matrix of 0 is because it is one element, and then I'll take I as constant and then iterate to each column and then return. So sorry, let us try to run this solution and check. Okay, so this runs properly. Most probably this is going to work. Oh no, we have encountered a problem. 3 5 should be 0. Okay, so we'll need to put a check over here, and that is if the element at r comma j is equal to 0, then we will skip this iteration. Similarly over here, if it element at I comma c is equal to 0, then we'll skip that iteration for now. It is 4 comma 4, right? 4 comma 4 letters. Try to run this. Expected output. Okay. Yeah, so this is it. This is the solution. Show it to. So basically what we have done is we have iterated, and then when we find the element that is equal to 0, we are going to call on this function, and the purpose of this function is to convert all the rows and elements at I comma j where the element is equal to 0 to a special character which is int max minus 1. But if the element in its row or column is equal to 0, then we will be skipping it because of anomaly, and that which is obvious in this case, that if we convert it into that int max, then the probability that we would have to skip this row and column is, then we would have to skip that row and column, and that will give us the incorrect output, and that is the reason why we are adding this check over here to skip if it is equal to 0, because if it's equal to 0, then it will be encountered again here in this condition, and when it will be encountered here, we'll be converting it and its row and column to 0, and that is the reason why we are skipping it. And that is all. Thank you.